Thanks for tuning in to Gin and Tantra, Spirituality with a Twist. You have Daniel driving the ship today, joined with our contributing partner, Phaedra Dopek. Phaedra, nice to have you with us today. Um, so I was doing some research, as we all do. I mean, if we could even call it research when you go online and look for shit, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, but things tend to fall into your way. And somebody posted something that I found to be quite interesting in terms of getting you to think about yourself and your life and who you are actually. And so there was a question that somebody asked, and I got to give credit to where credit is due. A guy by the name of Daryl Two Times. He is on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. So someone asked him a question. They said, "Who are you when you are not in survival mode?" So that's the kind of premise of these questions. So he gave not an answer, but he responded with five questions. Now I don't know where he got them. I'm just borrowing them from the prompt, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. So that's it. Is who are you when you are not in survival mode? What kind of person are you? And the questions that he asked are as follows, and then Phaedra and I will break down and discuss. But just to kind of give you the lead in. So the first question is, what do you enjoy simply because it brings you joy? The next, what does rest feel like when you're not feeling guilty about it? When you feel safe and unhurried, what kind of person do you naturally become? Who am I when I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone, even myself? And what parts of my personality have I hidden to feel safe or accepted? Now, I will leave these questions in the description of the video so that if you could just listen to this passively, and then if you want to go and answer them for yourself, that'll be there for you. And so, with that as our lead in, Phaedra, I'll let you get the first crack here.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I like this little bit of a different take. We've been doing a lot of fun episodes, so it's kind of fun to do something where we just kind of get to know each other. And
Sure.
so thanks for these amazing questions, um, and doing your research,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
think is important, what we do.
Yes.
Okay, so let's hop right in to
Yeah.
the first question, which was, what do you enjoy simply because it brings you joy?
Hmm.
For me, dance. Like it's the way it's healing, it's my medicine. It music, of course, drives that, but being able to move my body, move emotions through my body, it just brings such a sense of joy. And it doesn't even have to be like extreme dancing. It's like I'm at the grocery store and the song comes on and I'm just like dancing with my shopping cart. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's such a healing experience in many ways.
Hmm.
So I think that would be the answer to that.
Hmm. Yeah.
What
So
about you?
I looked at this, I looked at these questions and I tried to go one level more meta. Um,
Yeah.
and this one, and so each of them have their own little break, like I guess like I don't want to call it a psychological breakdown, but a psycho-spiritual breakdown. And so the overarching theme on all of these questions is this, from my perspective, is an aspect of judgment,
Hmm.
being free of judgment and then looking at different facets of our personalities, right? From a
Sure.
judgment-free place, external or internal, right? So who are we without concern of external validation? And so that the asking the question, what brings you joy simply because it brings you joy, in my mind, could also be interpreted as what brings you joy if it has no external value to anyone but yourself, you know? And the way that I answered this or that I looked at this is what makes you reframing this, what makes you feel alive?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so from there, then I just said, well, like much like yourself, music, self-expression, right? Um, like doing something that brings about, at least for me, doing something that brings about the look of realization in someone else's eyes,
Hmm.
which I think is also like a recognition of that alive sensation in someone else. And so
Yeah.
it's equally like fun and good and joyful for me to experience like what you're expressing, right? Like just being joyful and dancing or singing, something like this. But then
Yeah.
it's equally Like we talked about this during our relationship episodes, like with compersion, like seeing your partner get pleasure. Like I am equally as pleased seeing other people being in that same state. Like I
Yeah.
really love that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So me would say music, dancing, just that's kind of like where you'd go. That's joyful for you on all aspects.
Yeah, music, dancing, and seeing the recognition of someone else when they have someone has a realization. Like this is a I thought about this for a little bit. When someone else has a realization, when someone else understands something, when someone else makes a leap, when someone is relieved of something, like when you just see there's a shift in someone's
Yeah.
eyes. You
Yeah.
know that yes, maybe they might express it verbally, but you see it on them, you see it in them, and you're
Yeah.
like, damn, that's a change from a minute ago, an hour ago, a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, however long, until right now. You know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, for sure. I think interestingly you put it that way because recently I was out with friends of mine and it was the first time I went out with this particular person and we went to a house music thing. This was the like that day party that
Oh yeah.
we talked about.
Yeah.
And later on that night, he was like, Phaedra, because one of my high on my like my number one when it comes to my values is freedom. Daniel, you know that. um, and he was like, Phaedra, watching you dance was I see the freedom in your dancing
Mm,
because how you dance expresses how much freedom is important to you.
mm,
And he was just like so understanding and like loving about it. And it was just like that moment. And like when I go dance and I did all this stuff, it was like, you know, I was dancing because I was getting energy from the people, but really listening to it. And it's such an expression of my values. And it was, and in that moment when he said that, it took me to understanding that, like, I, while that this is like therapeutic for me and I needed that time, like other people, and like I had a woman that day, she's like, oh my God, I saw you dancing, and she's like, and I just needed to dance too. She's like, I wasn't
mm-hmm,
really dancing, and she's like, you inspired me to dance.
hmm.
And I was just like, holy cow, like that's powerful.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing what I love to do and it purely brings me joy. But as you said, like other people watching and
Hmm.
feeling that, it's pretty special. That was really great.
Well, you're also a bit of a voyeur as well, so
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
quite the voyeur for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's interesting when people give you they say, "Oh, I really enjoy you," or whatever, and you're like, "Oh, what about me?" They're like, "No, just you." And you're like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Yeah, just you doing you." And you're like, "I have no idea what that means." But I think what
yeah.
means to say is that like someone's inspired by your authenticity. Someone's inspired
Hmm.
by your expression of freedom, your creative expression of
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is
Yep.
what does rest feel like when you're not feeling guilty about it?
You take that one first.
Okay. So I think what does rest feel like when you don't feel guilty about it? First of all, in order for me to be actually deeply restful and not feel guilty about it, there cannot be any alarms. There cannot be any schedule. There cannot be any pressure to do anywhere, to go anywhere, to do anything. Like you have to be free of those things. And that's actually very rare, given that we're
Yeah.
locked into time as in moving forward. And so you're going to have something. So I think people look, to vacation for something like this, or if you could make some time in your day or week or whatever, to not have that. But then also being able to, pare it down even tighter to be able to take breaks, and allow yourself to have a break. And what I find actually is that like I have questions arise, thoughts start to become a little bit more spaced out. I start to wonder more about life just in
Yeah.
general. Um, I mean, of course, the it's trite to say, but like, you feel more present. You're definitely in the moment. You're not concerned about what you have to do in a little bit or what, being efficient. So you have to do your time in a certain way,
Mhm.
but you can expand, you could do things a little bit more slowly. And for me, the biggest thing is just like what is the larger meaning? Is there a larger meaning? Not what is it? Is there a larger meaning? What, what if I had more free time? What would I think about? How much am I distracting myself with scheduling, with working,
Yeah.
with whatever? You know what I mean? Am I
Right.
things like these types of things come up. That's tend to where that's where I tend to go. I don't know if that's restful or not, but that's what emerges. It seems like they sort of like bubble up from underneath the surface when I have time to let them come up.
So I'm hearing that you, when it comes to rest, your restful period is best spent contemplating, thinking, like you spend your rest like analyzing or processing,
No, pondering is a better way of putting it.
pondering.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
I'm not taking in material. I'm breaking
okay,
it. I'm just like
you're break things out.
expanding. I allow my mind to kind of like expand.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not processing, it's just asking the questions of the
Yes.
world.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's good. Yeah. I could see that as being restful. I think, yeah, some people would be like, no, it's not, but I think pondering is good. I mean, do you ever write those questions, like the things that you ponder, do you write them down so that you
Sometimes.
have like when you're not wet
Sometimes.
sometimes?
Yeah, yeah, on occasion. It's not regular. I think somebody else might call this daydreaming also,
Oh, yeah,
which
that's good.
which we don't do. I mean, it's a lost, unfortunately, it's a lost art. And the reason being for that is that I don't like to use military terms, but there is a war, for real war on your attention, right?
Yeah,
So meta moment, even as we're recording this, and then we get it published and everything comes up and people listen to it. You are giving us your attention, whether you're doing this audio, video, whether you're multitasking or whatever, your attention is on what it is that we're saying. You're pondering the things that we're saying. But what people don't do very much anymore, now they call it digital detox, which is like, right? The fact that you have
yeah,
to say the fact that you have to mention that something is toxic to you, therefore you need to detox from it, should be clue enough that it's we're doing it too much, but we're always distracted. We're always distracted.
yeah,
Multitasking is a way of life, and what happens when we're distracted is that we don't daydream, and the spaces between the thoughts where we used to just sort of free associate, ponder freely, allow imaginative kind of creative solutions to arise or be wrong,
mm,
and then worry, not worry, but like look into why it is that we're wrong about something in order to learn something better or different.
yeah.
That doesn't happen very often. So I find that my mind and my thoughts can relax and expand when I'm not having to be on a schedule of any type.
You're right. Yeah. I hear you on that. I feel very similarly. I think that rest, for me, rest feels like waking up. So Sundays, okay, like I'm not someone, I'm always a 4 a.m. or I get up at 4 a.m. every day.
Mm,
And Sundays I don't work. Like I've consciously taken Sundays to be a full day. Now I'll make plans or do have things to do later in
sure.
the day. Um, but I try to make Sundays my day to not have to do something first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
So I don't set an alarm. My lamp doesn't come on at 4 a.m. or whatever time. My body will naturally wake up, which is still like 5, 6 in the morning,
Sure.
but it's still sleeping in. And like you said, and then I spend time, like I get up, I allow myself not to do my natural or my needed routines. Like during the week, I wake up, my alarm is meditation. So as the first thing I hear is whether it's affirmations, meditations, things like that. The first 30 minutes of my morning at 4 to 4:30 is I put my like red light mask on. I sit there and I meditate. So my body is still in the soma coma. I'm still resting, but I'm like working on brain stuff and I'm learning something. Sundays, I allow myself to just, not that I don't like doing that, but I'm just like, I'm just going to wake up when I wake up. And like you said, think about things, ponder, daydream.
Hmm.
At some points in time, it's like analyzing situations. So I do get more into a like processing moment.
Hmm.
But to me, it's still resting because I'm just allowing my body to do what's freely coming up
Mhm.
without any intention. So it's like a lack of intention and just letting me be me on a Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
That's a good, yeah, intent. Yeah. I mean, there is an intention to rest, but like lack of will to do your being, less
Yeah.
doing, more being.
Yes.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Very good.
Yeah, no, I like that one. All right.
Yeah. Thanks.
The next one here is when you feel safe and or unhurried, what kind of person do you naturally become? So,
This was a yeah, this
yeah,
was a
so
hard question.
this one, so let me give you a little bit of context on this. So, there is something, and I, because I was looking up some of this just like online, and so this one in particular is called. There's something known as hurry sickness.
Oh.
Yes. And so hurry sickness is and I'll just take this straight from internet definition, a chronic feeling of urgency and the compulsive need to rush through life. People
Hmm.
experiencing hurry sickness often find themselves constantly pressured for time, leading to a pattern of frantic behavior, multitasking, and frequently checking the clock. These people have
Oh.
an anxious sense of urgency, always being behind or feeling like they're always behind and constantly racing to accomplish tasks, more often related to type A personalities. This can lead to obviously increased levels of stress, anxiety, and the negative impacts on mental and physical health. Obvious, that's an obvious kind of a thing. Physically, you have for our medical folks, increased levels of cortisol. And then obviously you're going to have influences on your blood sugar, which is going to make you kind of go up and down, potential higher
Right.
blood pressure. And then I guess I could say the last piece of it, like emotionally, probably a little bit more irritable, probably a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more, I don't want to say easily triggered, but, on the edge, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah.
restless. Um,
Fight. You're in fight mode.
yeah, they have a harder time relaxing and they can be a little bit task oriented, therefore kind of emotionally sort of numb. Like, I have to I can't think about that right now. I got to get this done. You
Yeah.
know, so I wanted, so I gave all of that because I found that to be quite interesting that there's a thing that's associated with this hurry sickness.
Ooh, I was down with that sickness for a very long part of my life.
What's that band? I'm down with the get down with the sickness. I forgot.
Oh, was wait, down with the was
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Oh, I hear the song in my head.
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't System of a Down. It was
No.
wait, no.
Oh,
Oh my God,
disturbed.
why
Sorry, disturbed.
is
Disturbed.
it? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'll,
I looked it
oh,
up.
you looked
Sorry.
up it was Disturbed?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's disturbed for
Yeah.
sure.
So I made a very conscious decision years ago. Um, Probably like before 2020, I'd say 2019,
Hmm.
2018, that um I was living that life. I was
Mm.
always like, just making my appointments, scheduling things on like the dot, scheduling. And, Dave would be the one that like would always call me out. He'd be like, you like schedule things minute to minute. Cause he's the type of person that was just like, he needs time to like sit and relax. And I was like, no, I'm going to get home. I'm going to get dressed in 5 minutes. Then I need 10 minutes to like poop. And then we're going to go. And then we can go on to the next thing. And then we have this other thing right after that. So it's going to take us 15 minutes to get there. And I was always just like scheduling everything minute to minute, back to back. And it, it's a lack of boundaries,
Mm.
time boundaries, and
Yeah,
like boundaries with other people, always having to say yes, people pleasing, blah, 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 blah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
when
yeah.
I started getting more in tune with my boundaries, that's when that hurried syndrome. And then I like leapt a little, like I knew it's only going to take me 15 minutes to get there, but I'm leaving a half hour because shit happens.
Right.
And I started just doing that in life in general and giving myself a Sunday off, half of a Wednesday off, and
Yeah.
creating those boundaries, which is just like, not that I still don't plan things minute to minute sometimes, because that's just,
Mm.
when it
Yeah,
comes to fun things, that's what I do.
right.
But yeah, so I can see that hurried syndrome, and it's taxing on the nervous system. Like you were talking about the cortisol, like I was like fluffy as fuck for years. And it was like because I was like always like
Go,
wake up in the
go, go.
morning, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I guess now when I feel safe and unhurried, I don't think I change as a person, but like I am a very peaceful, relaxed person.
Mm,
And I think that people don't see that because like you can look at my Instagram and I'm just like in one day I've got a story that's I'm in like five different places and I'm always experiencing because I love experiences. I always say yes because I love
yeah,
opportunity,
yeah, yeah.
you know? But I think when I'm feeling safe and unhurried, it's like I just want to like lay on the couch. I want to cuddle. I want to just be held and loved. And if it's with somebody else or if it's with myself, like I just want to like wrap myself up in my blanket and be still.
Mm,
Yeah. And the people don't see that because they're always like, you're always doing something. I'm like, well, sometimes that something is self-care and I'm just
mm.
sitting at home. Like I say no, not because I'm doing something else, but I'm doing me.
Yeah, yeah. So I played football, all kinds of football. And but I played for a long time after I finished college in a flag league, and I got more hurt in that flag league than I ever did anywhere else. Um,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah, for sure. So I broke my foot. I had to have a plate put in there, which is why I stopped. But a year before I broke my foot, I broke my nose. Somebody kind of pushed me from behind, and I fell forward, and I fell directly into someone's knee while they were running. And so it's kind of a interesting story, not really, but just sort of wild. I blacked out for just a second, because I didn't know what happened, and then I found myself kind of like on my knees, sort of, and I looked down at my shirt, it's all covered in blood, and then I was like, that's weird, and I started to breathe out of my nose, and couldn't breathe it out. I thought my nose was stuffed. It was stuffed with like blood and bone particles. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
So
God.
I went in the bathroom just to make sure that like the bone wasn't sticking out. It wasn't, a little bit, but not too bad. So I drove myself to Walgreens and Whole Foods to go buy the stuff I need. Meanwhile, I'm holding the door open for people, you know, helping their carts. No one asked, by the way, no one asked me if I was okay at all.
Really?
Nobody said a word to me. Nobody said a word to me. And this is like a Sunday at around 12 o'clock, so it's going to be busy at the stores, people grocery shopping. It
Yeah.
was kind of wild. Anywho's, so I'm sharing this for this particular reason. I created what I called Lazy Island, and so I had a futon, and I took it off the what do you want to call it, the
Face.
frame, yeah, and I just put it on the middle of the floor in the living room, and I brought all of my stuff, all my gauze and all like electrolytes and food and salt tablets and whatever else. And I said, I ain't moving from here. That's it. So I just stayed on Lazy Island for probably about 3 days, and that was the my unhurried place, So like, who do I become when there's no hurry sickness? Lazy as fuck sometimes.
Yeah. Do you still do that with pillows where you just like put them in the middle of the room and lay on the floor?
No, I don't.
Oh, that's
No,
kind of a cute idea. I like
it
that. I
is.
think I
Yeah,
might. It's like making yourself a fort when you were a little kid.
exactly.
I
Agreed.
think I think little kids that make forts and love forts, they, as adults, as we grow, because I was a fort person,
Yeah,
like we love that space. Like we're gonna be totally fine being alone
sure.
and having our space.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I don't mind tents, and on occasion, I actually will pitch a tent. Okay. That was my attempt at humor. All right.
Thanks for
Uh,
sharing that, Daniel.
you're welcome.
Thanks
Uh,
for that.
yeah, yeah. So the next one. Who am I when I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone, even myself?
You
And
want to
so,
take that one first?
sure,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say that this question seems to be dancing around authenticity.
Yeah.
Your kind of like unfiltered, uninhibited self-expression, your way of being, you know? And
Yeah.
I mean, all these questions are related, and they're related to relaxing from judgment, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? That seems to be kind of like what's woven through all of this, or productivity, whatever, right? Like, if you're hurrying up because you want to get things done, is because you want to be someone or yourself to say, I'm efficient. I can do a
I'm
lot of things.
efficient. Yeah.
I can get all this done. Don't worry. You can rely on me.
Yeah.
I'm a reliable person. You
Yeah.
could trust me. You know,
Yeah.
you can
The
trust me.
trust thing too. You can trust me. I'll be there 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trust me. Or maybe more importantly, I can trust myself. Can you?
Oh,
You're you.
yeah.
Should you be able to trust yourself? I don't know. I mean, I mean, there's the deeper question is who are we, right? Well, which we always ask on here, but like, who is
Yeah.
asking the question, can I trust myself? And who is answering it? And if you are you, then shouldn't you know the answer? Why would you have to ask this question? But
Yeah.
we're asking and we're answering. So we're also crazy at the same time. So, hello.
Totally.
Um, so who am I, uh, when I am not trying to prove anyone to anything to anyone, even myself? My authentic, my authentic being. And I could say that like, this has been coming up more. This one, out of all the ones, this is
Yeah.
the one that has been very prevalent over the last, really the last few months, last couple months,
Yeah.
for myself.
Same.
And I could say like my sense of humor is far dirtier, for sure.
No way.
Yes, absolutely. You'd be surprised. Um,
I wouldn't.
yeah, well, I mean, others might, but whoever. I asked actually. I said this yesterday. I was by, or 2 days ago, I was by someone's house, and I was leaving, and I was working with them. I said, I really appreciate, because I've been working with these people for many years now, like 8 years maybe. I
Okay.
said, I really appreciate your guys being so awesome, And like after we finished working together, I sat there. He's like, "Oh, do you want lunch?" And I was like, "No, I brought food." He goes, "Oh, well, I'll hang out with you while you eat." So he grabbed some chips and some water and sat down, whatever. And
Yeah.
I said, I really do feel like I could be myself, and you guys, and I could do anything basically, and you guys wouldn't judge me for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the husband was like, "Yeah, no, not at all." And I think hearing that was something that was nice to hear. I think
Yeah.
sometimes it's implicit with your friends, but also I want to consciously take away implicit understandings, which is, we've been doing this series on cults, and that's not part of this episode, but this is kind of like we're in the mindset of like
Yeah.
removing uh any implicit influences, right? And the implicit influence on all of these things, in my opinion, is judgment, and removing these judgments.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you're hanging out with your friends or even your family members or your partner or partners, depending on what you're into or not into, there is an implicit self bias of being accepted, or at least that's what we're hoping for.
For sure.
And I think it's just maybe nice to ask if that's actually the case. What can I do to, we always ask like, okay, okay, what are your boundaries? Tell me your yeses. Tell me your no's too, but give me more yeses. I want to play in the field of pleasure. Give me more of your
Right.
yeses. Let's do more of
Right.
that. But then, how much are we missing out by asking somebody, what can I do that would like not just turn you off, move away from the pleasure aspect, but as a friend, like, is there something that I could do? I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, say, outside of like murder or, some other, R word, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Is there outside of crime, like, and depending on the crime, it doesn't matter. Just ask, what can I do that would make you um, abandon our friendship or change the way that you would look at me? And I can only speak for myself. Phaedra, you're in my life and this is coming from a 100% authentic place. And so for those people who are hearing this, you know what I'm saying? That whatever are listening, friends, former friends, or none of the above, this is a really important question to ask because for me, I never asked that question because I always
No.
made the assumption that that answer was nothing. That
Yeah.
answer would be forever infinitely, there's nothing you
Yeah.
could do. There's nothing you could do. We love you.
Yeah.
And I thought that I earned that.
Yeah.
The mistake that I made was thinking I needed to earn anything. You
Yeah.
don't have to earn anything for anybody to love you, ever. That is merit-based love. That is transactional. It is superficial. And that is not love.
Yeah.
That is conditional. And that is exactly what we are trying to move away from. from being judged and judging others in the process of that unfolding. It has been a very difficult experience, to have that kind of thing thrown in my life and then see it ripple in the lives of many others. But in the process of all of that unfolding, I can now sit here genuinely with you, have a meta conversation about my actual life that you are actually a part of and have witnessed, and as a person who is sharing this openly, and say, I never wanted not to be able to ask that question to anybody ever again and not have the answer clearly. Because for me, and I'll just say for me, Phaedra, for you, there is nothing that you could do that would make me look at you differently. You know what I'm saying? Now, can I be disappointed in some, whatever,
Yeah.
if you fuck your life up in some way, I could be like, oh shit, can I help you? And then that's up to you to say yes or no. That's my role as a friend, as a lover of people in my circle, as a compassionate human being. I feel like that's my role. But I understand my role is just different from everybody else's, and everybody else has to feel empowered and authentic in their role to do their job. So, what am I trying to prove? Nothing.
You went on a really beautiful tangent, and thank you for saying that.
So who are you when you're not trying to prove anything
Oh,
to anybody else, even yourself?
oh man, I'm love. I mean, I'm pure. Like, what you just said, like struck a chord with me in many ways because,
Mhm.
like, and you knew it would.
Yeah.
But I just when I'm sitting there just looking around at, like, I'm renting a house right now. It's old. It's cute. It's like, it's nothing like I go to, you and me both, we go to places and like, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I can sit there and have so much gratitude for the people in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like sitting there having plants growing and like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, you guys love me enough to like grow. And I'm like nurturing you.
Yeah.
The simple, like, I just love like consistently and purely, and I can open up my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just me. And it's like, and I love that about me. It's not always worked. It doesn't always feel good
Right.
because I can do that.
Yeah.
But I also don't judge on that. Like you were
Yeah.
talking about, everyone has their own limitations and they're like, they do things the way that they do. But I think every day when I'm not trying to prove anything, I still can sit there in my own skin and just feel love for everything and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
would say purely um that love is like it drives me and it's just who I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. I think the last thing I'll say is that even though, like, who am I, like, who am I when I'm trying to not, prove anything to anybody else? I'm myself, whatever that version is. I also respect, and as do you, that other people have boundaries, likes and not likes, and they may not feel in accordance with, if I'm doing X, Y, or Z, or you're doing X, Y, Z, and we have to respect that part of it as well,
Yeah.
because they are doing the best for themselves at that time, and so that all that has to be taken into
Yeah.
consideration. But I think the benefit in these questions is that, like, these are I questions.
Yes.
These are I questions, and that is nice because, at least for me, I have a I don't want to call it people pleasing, but I like it. I like to call it regulating, you know,
Yeah.
and being a person who does a lot of organizing. That is an aspect of my personality and the personality of a lot of people who organize
Yeah.
when they're actually organizers and try to get people, like, involved from the bottom up, not are leading from the top down, which is doesn't really work unless there's a power structure, or I'll put it this way, an incentive structure involved to
Yeah.
get people to acquiesce their own desires in order to fall in line. But if you're trying to lead as a community with, hand in hand, you do have to be yourself and get other people motivated in a different kind of a way. And yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
that's that part. Okay. The last one here. What parts of your personality have you hidden to feel safe or accepted?
Huh. This was another tough one because, well, no, it's not that tough actually. I have a very clear answer, but I wanted to go deep and I don't know if I hide it because I don't think I hide things very well. Like walking into a room and having people look at me like, "Whoa, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm smiling. Nothing's wrong with me. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?" They're like, "Yeah, no, your light is like shadowed by something and you're not walking through this room feeling great."
Yeah.
Um, so I think for me, it's that I hide is like, and I'm working on it and it's gotten so much better. But I
Sure.
think historically, like, shame, like
Mm,
this shameful part of me that like has bound me to years of just like thinking very much less of myself, even though
mm-hmm,
like, I can walk in and
mm-hmm,
da da da.
mm-hmm.
There's self shame, and I'm really I've worked on this for years,
Yeah.
and like I'm finally at a point in my life where it's like I'm not just listening to like advice or listening to therapists and things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready now. Like I
Mm,
understand, like my body's fully in it and understanding, and um so yeah, I think that's just a huge part of me that not many people would know unless you really do know me and you're like, yeah,
mm-hmm,
Phaedra, we knew this.
mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm,
knew this. Um, yeah. So shaming and like self shame for sure.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think th this one clearly is the one that is most poignantly represented by judgment, right? That's what this one is for sure, in my opinion. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
and when, upon judgment, that is what happens. You are convicted, right? That is it. So now you are a blank. You are a bad person. You are a dummy. You are a cheater. You are a liar. You are a thief. You are a something, all of the things that, would people would shame others for,
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that part is just such a strong aspect of who we are. It really is.
Yeah.
Now, is that who we are, or is that how we've been conditioned to be? I cannot say because it's so deeply innate, And even the aspects of this question, what parts of your personality have you hidden? Well, if you've hidden them, I'm not sure that you know them. I'm not sure that we even really know this.
Right.
If we take the Jungian approach and say that this is an aspect of our shadow, you're not going to really see it. It's often unconscious. These are
Hmm.
behaviors that
Yeah. We're
rely,
not even.
yeah, that they lie outside the level of our awareness, but they're part of who we are. So we really do need a community of people, trusted people, or a partner or two or whatever, to kind of help to put a mirror up. And
Yeah.
that term I don't like a lot in general because I'm gonna say, well, I'm just your mirror, and I'm like, no, you're not my mirror. On a macro, on a physical sense, right? Like you make your own decisions and do your own things, and you're choosing to do what you do as a person, but you're showing up for me as who you want to be. You're not intentionally mimicking my behavior.
Right.
You are intentionally being your own person, I hope, in this state.
Right.
So no, it's not an exact mirror. But what I mean by that specifically is that people who are close to you, who are observational and not judgmental, that can help you to see patterns, because those are the best ways, in my opinion, for us to see part aspects of ourselves that are hidden is through patterns. It's very difficult to go, oh, you have this thing, and be right about it and not and be able to kind of break it down further. But they can say, oh, Phaedra, do you know you do this all the time?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Oh, well, whenever this happens, you do this. And that is,
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I need to get my charger. I'm so
no,
sorry.
you're
My
good, no
phone's dying.
problem. No, you're
Keep
good.
going.
It's just something that like we're unaware of and have to often have to has to be brought to our attention in order for us to kind of work on it, right? To change it or however you want to call it. So answering this, um, what parts of my personality have I hidden to feel safe or accepted? I can say I don't know because
Yeah.
I've thought about it and I'm not quite sure because whatever parts of me that have done that have done it pretty well.
Yeah.
The I think the only thing that I could say on it, yeah, it's the judgment piece. And it's hard for myself to judge my own actions, my own behaviors on me, and then feeling that externally as well. So it resides. I don't like to be judged by others, and I don't like to judge myself, and I don't like to judge others, and I don't like when they judge themselves. And so all of this is I know it doesn't exactly answer this question, but that's the best way that I could say it's dancing around that critical eye of what we should or shouldn't be doing. So
Okay.
not
Yeah.
not not great, but there it is.
No, I mean, yeah, it was a little bit of runaround, but point taken.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is, yeah, I guess when you like m answering that, like I know consciously, I think that shame I hide from people, but that's when you think about it, it's like, okay, that's what I consciously think that I hide, but is it really hiding because people see it, like
Correct.
in talking with people about certain situations. So I think you're right. Like, I don't know if we're hiding it from others, we're probably hiding it from
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
So then that answer is like really hard. So there's conscious things that we might hide, whether it's, like bad habits or addictions, things like that. And I wonder, we think we're hiding it, but those people that really know us and are close to us are like, bitch, you ain't hiding shit.
Right.
We
Right.
see
They
this.
know. Yeah, they know it.
Yeah, like we see this, and like when you can name it and, you know, be conscious of it, you're not hiding it though. And so I
Correct.
think that that's just like that idea of like what we're hiding. We're not really hiding it because it's coming out in some way. I
For
don't truly
sure.
think we can hide.
No, not really. We overcompensate. And some people will hide what they believe to be insufficiencies. So someone trying to
Sure.
hide their lack of intellect by being overly garrulous or overly with a higher amount of vocabulary, more
Okay.
eloquent,
Yeah.
or someone will hide their insecurities with being very assertive, right?
Yes.
Someone will hide their own beliefs. Again, on a social, psychological perspective, someone will hide their own true feelings in order to fit in. And I think that's where a lot of this ends up being is in the conformist vein of
Yeah.
being, is that people will hide what they really believe in order to make sure that they maintain the coherence with them and their people around them. And that
Yeah.
part is dangerous. That's the dangerous part, is that you will be willing and I'm not going to say eager, but very open to not expressing who you are, what you believe, and what you think, such that others may not judge you, but not so that you can be ostracized, so that you can continue to fit in the mold, so that you'll have
Yeah.
people around you who, quote unquote, agree with you, even though you might not totally agree with them in the first place. But it's almost better to not be alone and have some cognitive dissonance than it is to have cognitive dissonance and be in a pool of one. You know what I'm saying? I think that,
Yes.
that fear is a deep thing, and it's not really healthy. And then in some of the other episodes that we're doing, we're addressing this issue in particular,
Yeah.
because I don't believe that any block of individuals is a monolith. I don't think so. But I think overall people want to fit in more than they want to be ostracized or
Yeah.
excommunicated. So they make the sacrifices and have the talking points and have the narrative rolling in their mind that this is who they are. So therefore, they kind of just take those things, and they may differ here or there, but these questions in particular, are nice to kind of like find out who you are as an authentic being, and then bring that idea or that practice of questioning who you are and what you believe in as a practice for yourself moving forward, so that you can do the kind of
Yeah.
deeper work on what the fuck it is you actually believe,
Yeah.
and ask, do these people believe me around? Do the people around me believe in the way that I do? And if not, then maybe I don't need to be associated with them.
Yeah, for sure. I think that in these questions, just even like as your own personal self-care and self-reflection and just being more self-aware, period.
Hmm.
I think that these questions are like good check-in questions
Yeah.
to just remind myself. Like I could look back at these questions and be like, oh, I forgot this. Like I forgot
Yeah.
that this was. It's like reminding yourself of your values and your
Yeah.
intentions, right?
Yeah.
It's having these moments of checking in and having questions that you just ask yourself and you're like, oh yeah, this is what I think and this is who I am and this is what I do.
Yeah.
And they're great dinner table conversation,
Also,
because
yes.
it
Yes.
it gets really, and it's an intimate, deep thinking question with a group of people who, even if you've known them for half your life, these
Hmm.
aren't questions that you would normally ask. So it does, and I'm just saying this because I did this with people. It's a really special moment to ask these questions, and I think we'd all be surprised a little bit in some of the questions, like what the answers are.
Yeah. Yeah. So as a summer, I'll go over 'em one more time just so people have them here. What do you enjoy simply because it brings you joy? What does rest feel like when you're not feeling guilty about it? When you feel safe and unhurried, what kind of person do you naturally become? Who am I when I'm not even trying to prove anything to myself or anyone else? And what parts of my personality have I hidden to feel safe or accepted? Phaedra, thanks for coming on and doing this with me. This is a
Thank
fun
you.
little jaunt here. Audience, thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate everybody's input and participation. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, leave them in the YouTube video section or hit us up on the DMs on the gram at the Gin and Tantra podcast. If you want to get a hold of Phaedra for anything in particular, no dick pics, then you could email us at ginandtantra@gmail.com. Ginandtantra@gmail.com. And yeah,
Thanks for that.
of course. And for Phaedra, this is Daniel. We'll catch you guys in the next
Bye.
one. Peace.
Bye.